Good afternoon. I'm Alistair Still. I'm the CEO of Goldmining Inc. and happy to present our story to you today. I would point out we are a dual listed company, easy ticker symbol on the Toronto Stock Exchange, GOLD, and on the NYSE American as well, GLDG. Like my predecessor, I will have some forward-looking statements. Please take a look at this and proceed with your own due diligence and research. But at a simple summary, I think it's first of all important to explain what makes gold mining different from many of the other juniors and explorers that are here today. And really the difference is that we have a combined strength of a balance sheet and a distribution of resource-based projects throughout the America that are really second to none for companies our size. So what does that translate to? Really what it shows is that in cash and equity holdings right now, we have approximately $160 million on our balance sheet. This is on a market cap company with just over $200 million. And in addition to that, we have some 12.5 million gold equivalent resource ounces and a further 9.7 million gold equivalent inferred resources. All of those resources are within projects within the Americas, good solid jurisdictions. In fact, 7 projects, each of them having more than 1 million gold equivalent ounces each. And if you do some very quick and simple math on that, and you look at an enterprise value, and considering that we have zero debt, that really demonstrates that a portfolio of multi-million ounce resources is getting a negligible value per ounce. And that really is the factor here for a significant return. Each of those projects has its own merit. Each one has its own strengths, but we're focused on a couple of them. And each one of those by themselves could move the needle on this company. And that's really what stands us apart. I'll walk through a couple of those assets with you today. But also we'll highlight that the strength of that balance sheet is largely underpinned by 2 equity holdings. The first is in a company called US Goldmining Inc. It's a NASDAQ-listed company that was just launched last year. We own some 80% of that company. That project is actively drilling on a major gold-copper deposit in Alaska. And the second major equity holding we have is in a company called Gold Royalty. And Gold Royalty is listed on the NYSE American, and our ownership interest is about 15% today. So this is really what creates the unique business model, gives us great leverage to the price of gold, tremendous upside from the assets themselves. And as an added bonus, I'll also mention that we have a uranium project, which I'll touch on briefly at the end. So at a quick glance, this is the market cap or the share structure for the company. We have about 190 million shares issued and outstanding. We received the dual listing on the NYSE American just over 2 years ago, and the volume in the US trades at some 5 to 10 times the volume in Canada, so that gives us enhanced liquidity. We have some significant key shareholders pointed out here, as well as coverage by 3 analysts, H.C. Wainwright, Laurentian Bank, and Roth. So along with the strong balance sheet and the strength of assets, we have an experienced leadership team. Myself, my background was a little unique. I came from major operating gold mines. I worked for majors for some 25 years, likes of Goldcorp and Newmont, Placer Dome, Kinross, operating mines in Canada, built mines in South America and Argentina, and a number of years of corporate development, M&A work throughout the Americas for major companies. So that background really helps me pull together the team and the resources to advance our projects, and also created the opportunity here because Amir, as a founder of the company, had assembled a portfolio of assets, but they really hadn't been worked in a number of years. Now it's about prioritizing, focusing on assets, and unlocking value from them. And to do that, to help do that, I've brought in Tim Smith, who we brought in from Newmont. Tim was a director of exploration at Newmont. And whenever we can attract a talent the likes of Tim from the world's largest gold mining company, I know that Tim did his homework and looked at our projects before he joined us. So where are the assets? I point out that all the assets are in the Americas. I think it's a great and stable jurisdictions that we operate in. We have assets in the US, Canada, Colombia, Brazil, and 1 project in Peru. Most of the exposure is to gold. Over 80% of the commodity exposure is in fact gold. And there's about a 20% commodity exposure through copper. And copper occurs as a byproduct or co-product at a number of our deposits. And I think that's a great extra incentive or a great bonus to have these days, particularly from a permitting and a sustainability perspective. I would also point out the Rehea Project. That's a very large uranium project in the Athabascan Basin. And you may be asking, why does a company called Goldmining Inc. have a project, a uranium project? and it's a relic we've had since 2013. So it was acquired long before some of the major discoveries at Patterson Lake and others, and a compelling story developing in the uranium world. That's why we're helping surface that project today. So one of the assets to highlight on, and this is an asset that we launched as an IPO last year. This is the Whistler Gold Copper Project in Alaska, an exciting project of size. There's also the largest project closest to the major urban center in Alaska, which is Anchorage. The project is located just over 100 miles to the northwest of Anchorage. It's a great jurisdiction to be operating in. And in fact, one of the catalysts for us wanting to advance the project, was the development in the copper price since the project was last drilled in 2011, has increased some threefold. And the state also did an economic study of how they could attract development into the state, and they launched a Road to Resources project. And that Road to Resource project is something initiated by the state, funded by the state, and would see a road developed from Anchorage right to our doorstep. So that's a great future opportunity for us and catalyst for the launch. The project raised $20 million on the NASDAQ last year. Goldmining owns just about 80% of the equity in this company. And the first drill campaign results have just been released over the past week. A great success, and really what the drilling has been focusing on is, you can see here, we have 3 million ounces of indicated gold equivalent resources, a further 6.5 million ounces inferred. But within that, there is a high-grade core to this deposit. It's approximately 6 million ounces, grading close to a gram per ton of continuous high-grade mineralization. That's what we wanted to test, prove up, and further expand. And that is, in fact, what did happen with the drill holes we released last week. The highlight hole in the program was a hole drilled from surface that intercepted 547 meters at over 1 gram per ton gold equivalent. That was in solid mineralization top to bottom. In fact, even the first 50 meters of that hole were mineralized as well. The bottom 25 meters ran over 1 gram per ton gold equivalent. So in fact, the hole is completely open to depth. The hole was stopped in the fall. The water source we were drawing from froze up for the winter. So when that water is available again next year, we can re-deepen that hole and test the depth extent of the system. But whenever we can encounter a mineralization such as this, continuous long runs of mineralization right from surface, it certainly has us very excited about the potential at U.S. Goldmining and the 80% interest that Goldmining owns. Another project to bring your attention to is our Luma project in Colombia. This was in fact the first project the company drilled. Even though the company had been around for 10 years or more, we drilled this project in 2022. We made a discovery at a discovery cost of less than $2 per resource ounce. So a great discovery cost. We put that into a PEA study, and we showed the project has very strong economics. It's again a porphyry style system. It's a cluster of porphyries envisioned to have a central processing facility. Those porphyries themselves producing a gold and copper mineralization that can be produced, and shown here a very significant mineralization and economic potential, as well as in the larger land package, some additional targets which we'll be planning to advance in the coming future. Final project in the gold front, just to highlight, is our San Jorge project in Brazil. This is a project we made an announcement on before Christmas. It's one that we're going to be active on again in 2024. The district has been growing and emerging since G Mining acquired Tocantinzinho from El Dorado. That project is a long trend from us, about 70 kilometers to the northwest, here in Pará State. And that has us very excited about our project. What's key here is that we have a good solid grade resource, comes right to surface, and is within 1 kilometer of paved highway. So easy to access, easy to start up, and stay tuned for a proposed drill program, which we plan to launch in the coming weeks. A partnership opportunity is always something we're envisioning and looking out for. We did announce last week that we completed a transaction with Nevgold, in which we completed the option of our Almaden or Nutmeg Mountain project to them. This was a project we'd acquired for $1 million. 2 years later, we had an option agreement. 2 years after that, we'd completed the transaction. We received $9 million in value, which now equates to about 30% interest in the company. We're due to receive another $7.5 million in contingent payments, and we stand to benefit from the full upside, owning 30% in the company. Our Rehea Project is something you'll be hearing more about in the near term. It's 125,000 hectares in the best uranium district on the planet, the Athabasca Basin. This is something we've had since 2013, and certainly will be a priority of the company in the coming year as we unlock value. We start our stakeholder engagement as we move forward with this project in the Athabasca Basin in Canada. So that's a quick summary of our project. I think what separates us is the robust balance sheet that we have, the cash and assets on the balance sheet, diverse portfolio of gold and copper projects in the Americas, added bonus of having a uranium project, and an experienced team to move these projects forward. Thank you.